Hey everyone, it's Jen, and I'm here today with a book haul and unboxing. So first, let's do some books that I don't have to take out of a box. The first book I have is The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I read his other book, The Paper Menagerie, over the summer, and I really enjoyed it. So when I saw this at the bookstore, I just had to pick it up because I'm very interested to see what some of his writing that isn't short stories looks like. Next, I picked up a copy of Room by Emma Donoghue. I have actually already read this book, but I borrowed a copy from a friend, so I didn't have one for my shelves. And I saw it on sale at the store, so I decided to pick it up for my collection. I also have The Last Anniversary by Liane Moriarty. This one looks like it's a little bit of a love story about a new wife with a new unconventional family, but it's in a town where everyone has a lot of secrets, so I'm excited to see what this one is all about. Next, I have Perfect by Rachel Joyce. So this one is about a young boy who sort of loses faith in everyone in his family all at once and comes up with a plan to sort of see what went wrong. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I am very excited to read it. I also have How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran. This book takes place in the 90s and it's about a teenager who sort of reinvents herself, but is what she reinvents herself as enough to build a girl? So I guess I'll see when I read the novel. I also picked up Redeployment by Phil Clay. This book is a little bit outside of my comfort zone as it is short stories about the Afghanistan and Iraq wars, which is a subject that I typically avoid like the plague, but I decided that I really wanted to expand my reading horizons, and this one also won the National Book Award a few years ago. So I figured I should start somewhere, and especially since these are short stories, they should be a little bit easier to get through than a whole book about war. The next book I have is Good Morning Midnight by Lily Brooks Dalton. So this is a book about two sort of outsiders, an astronomer and an astronaut, and how they sort of deal with and how their stories intertwine when there's some sort of big catastrophic event. But I picked this book up because I really enjoyed Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. That was also like a more literary post-apocalyptic dystopian novels. And I'm hoping that if this is anything like that, I will love it. So while I was editing, I realized I forgot to talk about one of the books that I got this month, and that book is The Masked City by Genevieve Cogman. This book is the second in the Invisible Library series, the first being The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. So this novel is about a woman who is a librarian, and as a librarian, her job is to collect books for the library, but the books she collects are from alternate dimensions. And in this book, she has just been stationed in a steampunk version of Victorian London, so I am very excited to get into it. And now we get to the unboxing portion of this video. Okay, so a lot of the books that I got in this box are actually books that I have already read, but most of them I think I read before I started making videos on BookTube. And they're books that I read on my e-reader or that I read advanced copies of, but I just never got the final finished copy, but I like them enough that I want them for my shelves. On top of the box was The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. So I have an advanced reader's copy of this that I read about a year and a half ago, but I really liked it and I wanted to pick up a finished copy. I love stories about booksellers and libraries and people who read, and in this book the main character is a man who has a floating bookstore, and it's like a floating apothecary bookstore, so people would go onto his bookstore boat and he would like sort of recommend books to them based on what he thought they needed, and then he ends up taking his bookstore boat on a journey through France. And I just really liked it a lot, and I thought it was very enchanting. So when I saw this on sale on Book Outlet, I decided to go for it. The next one that I have here is Hausfrau by Jill Alexander Essbaum. And again, that's one that I had an advanced reader's copy of, but the advanced reader's copy is not nearly as beautiful as the finished book. So this book is about Anna, who is a housewife in Switzerland, where everyone speaks German, but she really doesn't, so she feels sort of isolated, and Hausfrau is actually German for housewife. She's living in this foreign country with her husband and her two children, all of whom speak Swiss German, It's a very sort of Madame Bovary story a little bit, and I am a sucker for those sorts of plot lines. Jill Alexander Essbaum, who wrote this novel, she was originally a poet, and you can really see that in her prose and the way she writes. It's very beautiful. My cat is over there playing with a Barnes & Noble bag. Okay, so, Hausfrau. The next book I have is Wolf in White Van by John Darnell. My cat is crazy, I'm sorry. I read this book again about 1.5 years ago, and I enjoyed it, and I liked it enough that I wanted a copy. The book is about a man who was physically disfigured when he was a teenager, so he makes his living by writing a game. The game he writes is a text-based role-playing game done through mail. And it's about two teenagers who start playing the game, but take it out into the real world and take it a little bit more seriously, and how the main character has to sort of account for that and try to figure out what's going on. So I really enjoyed this book, and I'm excited to have a copy for my shelves. So the next 2 books that I have are ones that I actually read this year. The first one is Girl Through Glass, which again I read on my e-reader, but I really enjoyed and I wanted a copy. So it's about a girl who's growing up in 1970s New York City, and she's a ballerina, and it's about all the sort of struggles she faces in the ballet world and struggles she faces within herself, and it's told with 2 perspectives. I don't remember what video I talked about it in, but I will link it down in the comment box below. And last but not least, I have a copy of All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders. So as you can see, I have a copy of it on my shelf here. And so you might be saying, but Jen, why did you need another? Well, Charlie Jane Anders is going to be at the National Book Festival in Washington, D.C. next weekend, and I'm going to be going. I'm really excited. I'm going to go hear her speak, and I'm going to get her to autograph my book, so I decided if I was going to get a book signed, I wanted it to be the hardcover. And this was a really good price on Book Outlet, so I decided to go for it. And I know a friend who really wants to read this book as well, so now I can just give her a copy and keep a nice hardcover version for myself. Okay, that's all that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this book haul. Please let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts are, especially for the ones I haven't read yet. I would love to know which one you guys think that I should read first. So if you want to see more of what I'm reading, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and check out my Goodreads page as well. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!